Okay, I'd like to call the November 21, 2024 meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. It's 7 o'clock. We'll do that. I'm just going to mention the first selectman is out of town, and that's why I'm chairing this meeting as the chairman pro tem of this body. So if everyone please rise and join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on our agenda is a moment of silence. And I'd actually like to honor two women who passed away. The first is Joan O'Shea Sullivan. She's a former member of this body, served as member of the Board of Selectmen, is a longtime resident of the South Britain area of town, and also served on the town's personnel committee. So our thoughts are with her family. And we'd also like to honor Jody Rell, former governor of the state of Connecticut. She was the 87th governor of Connecticut, serving from 2004 to 2011. So everyone could just join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Next up, we have a presentation from Don Feuerstein regarding a bandstand.
I'm Don Feuerstein. I moved here in 1975, and I started the Southbury Middlebury JCs back then, and we ran for quite a few years and did quite a few community projects.
Don, if you could just press the button there so it's green.
The reason for this project is basically that right now we've got bands setting up on the grass and whatnot. We don't have a place for them to play. There's a danger of electrical hazard. There's expensive equipment that's exposed to weather. Just on guitars alone, I mean, some of my guitars cost $6,000–7,000. To put them out in the rain is a bit much. So what I'm proposing is that we build a bandstand, basically a stage at the head of the green, so that we have a sheltered place for bands to be able to play. And this will provide us with quite a few different advantages that we'll go through here. But locating it at the head of the green gives us the ability to play to the audiences that people are playing to now, putting their stuff on the grass. But it will give us a place to be able to basically have a 30 by 30 area, a good bit of which will be undercover, so that there'll be concrete on the bottom of it, and it will also provide the ability to deflect the sound out, so that we have basically the ability to project the sound from the stage. In addition to bands and music, there's all sorts of other things that can be done with this, dancing or whatnot. It would be appropriate for any kind of art presentation. I think it'd be a real asset to the community. The big thing, though, would also like to be able to put some lighting into it because of the dramatic effect that lighting adds to a performance for both the audience and the performers is significant. We actually went through a couple of these too fast, but I've sent a copy of this over for you so you can review it at your leisure. But basically, what I'm proposing is that we not go to the town for money for this. I want to put together a group and raise the money and build this as a community action project. Of course, it's on town property, so it has to be, approved by you guys. We would have to conform with all of the town rules and regulations in doing so. But I think by doing that, we accomplish several things. One is we have an active community project where people are getting involved in it. They get a sense of satisfaction in doing something for their community, and we also don't tax the taxpayers for more money on something that may not be appreciated by everyone, but certainly the few who are involved in it, they will, and I think it'll be a real asset to the community if we do it. So what I would like from you guys is the approval to go ahead and put together a formal presentation. This is just basically an idea here, and the next step would be to go through and draw actual plans for it, cite it, work with, I know Megan in the Parks and Rec Department were very enthusiastic about it, work with them, put together a committee so that we can explore this, come back to you guys with a formal plan on the exact amount of money that we need to raise to be able to do this right, how we would do it, have the whole plan for it, and move forward.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments or anything?
Yeah, I think the only question that I would have is how familiar you are with building such bandstands, whether or not it's that design that you showed has the acoustics, if it's big enough for a 5-piece band. I would like to know the experience that you would have in doing it.
Well, I mean, I would get involved with an architect and also with some sound engineers in doing this. And personally, I don't have experience in that. I have done a lot of building in my life. I'm really more in electronics. I've done my whole career in doing semiconductor test equipment and hold patents in semiconductor test equipment. So I have an appreciation for the technical aspect of this, but some of that would have to go out to the experts who really know it. I have experience from playing out. I can tell you that we couldn't do anything worse than sitting out there on the grass and trying to push sound forward. But I would enlist the people that we need to get it engineered properly.
So to clarify, this would be on the piece of land right back here, right behind us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, this way. Yeah,
This way,
Yeah.
yeah, right behind us.
up on the top of the hill up here, by the firehouse.
Interesting. I mean, personally, I have no objection to a further presentation. I think that's the ask that you're asking of us, is just, can you put something more formal together?
Yeah, I'd like to put a committee together, and I've got some people who are interested in serving on it, and certainly Megan has expressed interest, your Parks and Rec director.
Would this be a town committee or a private committee? What are you thinking?
It really should be a private committee, but it has to be overseen by the town, obviously, because we would be building on your land and whatnot.
And why did you select that area by the firehouse? Don't most of them perform down by the senior center? They moved
No,
them
they've been
around?
doing them up here,
All right,
yeah. They used to do them over
Yeah.
here, but
that's what I thought.
I think there's a little more space up here.
How is the slope? Like, have you used that exact spot, and with it sloping downwards, do you find, like, when people sit on the grass, do you think, are they gonna, can you put your lawn chair comfortably, or are you gonna fall back? Like, I have some questions about that, like.
No, I think the people would be down on the flat part.
Oh, they'd be on the, okay.
Yeah,
So
the,
nobody's
the,
on
the
slope.
bandstand would be up into the hill.
Okay.
And the idea would be to make the stage so it was raised, so there
Mm-hmm.
was a better viewing for people, as they were out in the area.
Interesting. I wanna go take a walk out there afterwards, so I can visualize it better.
Maybe not in the rain.
And is the area that you're looking at the area that the bands currently play on when they go out there, or is?
I think probably in looking at it, the better site is going more towards the corner of the lot up to the right-hand side. If you're looking at it up this way, the land slopes up there. And if we dug into that hill and put it into the hill, the stage would then come out. We'd have a raised area in the front, maybe 3 feet or so. And that way, there would be a bit better view for the people down below, and also the sound would better project out over the area.
Sure. Thank you. Selectman Van Stone.
I think I'm in general support of this, or at least hearing the next step of it. One thing I would just want to make sure that your group, when you are meeting, took into consideration is that other events happen in that same space that aren't musical. You know, whether it be the farmers markets.
Right.
We do a number of fairs there. So I just wouldn't want this structure to impede on anything else that was in the area. So just as you're having your conversations, just remember to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I don't think where it is on the hill there, it would affect that at all, other than it would provide another place that they may be able to get use out of.
Certainly.
A lot of the farmers markets have bands come in and play when they have them. It's another way to get, more people involved and more people there. But I'd like to see the ability of the town to do more with the arts, music, dancing, chorale societies. My wife sings with the Waterbury Chorale. To be able to bring groups like that in, be able to put them on somewhere, and be able to have performances on a regular basis that we could do where it wouldn't cost the town anything. It would just be something else that we would all get involved in. And
One other question that just popped to me when you just said that it wouldn't cost the town anything. So that's for the initial, in theory, build. Maintenance for the life of the bandstand, would that revert back to the town? Or is your idea to create this kind of nonprofit that will perpetually upkeep it?
I guess that would be something that we would have to explore.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fair.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Mr.
I don't think that would be a very high maintenance, piece of property. There would be electricity involved, certainly. And that's another one of the problems when bands play. Right now, they're running long extension cords over, and it's not particularly safe, nor is it good for the equipment. You don't necessarily have the power you need to be able to run it. Anytime that you're running amplifiers, high-powered amplifiers to put sound out, and you're trying to project over open ground, it takes a lot of power to do that. And when you have all that electrical equipment, if you start having rain or whatnot, besides damaging the equipment, the potential for someone being shocked or whatnot is significant.
So the way to rectify that would be digging a trench, running a conduit underground, and having.
Absolutely, yeah, and have proper electrical outlets in it, done by a qualified electrician, and
Got it. Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else have any comments? Thank you. I think it's a good idea. I think there's interest here in exploring further. I do think we haven't heard directly from our Parks and Rec director, and I think we sort of need to do that. And you envision as the next step, sort of informally putting together a committee and putting together some ideas to present back?
Right.
Okay. So I think it's,
if you guys are in agreement that, you know, I didn't want to just go and start doing this and then have you guys say, no, well, no, we don't, you know, we're not interested in that, so.
I think it sounds like folks are certainly interested in additional exploration and learning more about it and, you know, what
Great.
might be available.
Just so you know, you did a presentation at Park and Rec on the 7th of November, right? In the minutes, I guess
I-
they did approve of you.
Correct, yeah.
They sent a letter, yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie, the chairman of the Parks and Recreation Commission.
My actual initial presentation was when Ganem was the director, and he left shortly thereafter, so it sort of, you know, went into a tailspin. Then we got started with Megan, and as soon as we got started with that, we had the disaster in town, so that sort of put things on a back burner. And I know you guys were pretty much buried in dealing with all the natural disaster too, so I'm glad we were able to get in tonight and talk to you about it. I'm excited about it. I think it'll be a fun project.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Everyone received an email today from Noreen asking that we add to the agenda on-call consulting engineering services. Is there a motion to add that to new business?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. We'll add that to new business. Okay. Next up is public comment. Is there any public comment here tonight? We have one member of the public. So, no public comment. Next up, announcements and correspondence. You have those in your packet, First Selectmen's update, and also the cancer fundraiser happening at the high school this weekend. We all also received individual invitations to that over the last week. We have reports from departments. Brings us to consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Selectman Van Stone, is there a second?
Second.
Selectman Sullivan. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Consent agenda passes. Minutes from November 7, 2024, regular meeting. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
We'll give Van Stone a motion. Selectman O'Neill,
Second.
second. Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Minutes are approved. No unfinished business, new business. Betsy, do you have that resolution? This was something we received today, a memo from our Public Works Director to approve this contract for consulting engineering services, and also in consultation with our fiscal director. So, is there a motion? Motion to approve. As presented. Second? Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
I have a question. Do we know, and forgive me for not knowing this, how we worked with this engineer in the past?
I do not know the answer to that question.
Fair
So,
enough.
we could,
I
Betsy doesn't recognize the
I
name.
have some concerns too. I'm kind of disappointed that there weren't more than one solicited bid. I guess they
Yeah.
did solicit more than one, but only heard back from one. Don't really know what their hourly rates are, whether it's competitive or not, so I'm not in favor of approving this tonight.
So this was just sent to us this afternoon. We were asked if we could approve it. If people want to make a motion to delay it to the next meeting,
Do we know
that's
if,
feasible.
apologies, I didn't mean to interrupt, I'm sorry. Do we know if there's any kind of like urgently pending project that this approval is is hinging on participating in that project, or if we were to go to the next meeting, does that in any way stall them? Because I wouldn't want to hold them up if there's something they're trying to get done that's necessary, but it just came to us today, so I'm just a little cautious to be too quick.
I bet good money this is about the library.
Is it? Okay, see, that's important to know. If it is about the library, and obviously our community very much wants the library to be moving along quickly, I would hate to deny the ability to do so, and it turned out to be, you know, all on the up and up. I just feel like it's just fairly quick, but that might be necessary.
And there's really not a lot of information here. We don't really know what their going rate is, and whether it's fair market value with other engineers.
Mr. President?
Is there any other comments?
Just a quick question, a new guy question. When things like this come before us, is there generally someone, in this case from Public Works, who speaks about it to fill in these answers?
Sometimes,
Okay.
so.
And I'm getting from the tenor of this conversation, my other question was going to be, is there any, the library helps add some context. Is this something you guys have been discussing about for months and now we're here?
This is the first time that's come to this body.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's a little bit different tonight is, obviously, our first selectman isn't here, and he normally has his, a really good pulse on what's happening and why, and he can speak to us about, you know, what happened during business hours that transpired, and he's not with us tonight, so, you know, I think that's maybe why we have we have more questions than normal, because generally he would fill us in on the,
Can I suggest this, because I think there's enough questions and concern. We can delay this to the next meeting. However, if we learn that this is an urgent matter, we can have a special meeting on Monday and approve it. You know, we don't have to wait 2 weeks. We can always have a special meeting. And we can just deal with it that way and address any of the concerns or information in that fashion, if that makes sense.
That seems fair.
Yep.
yeah, I like that. It's not a-
So, if there's a motion to postpone this to the next meeting,
I make a
Entertain
motion to
that.
postpone this to the next meeting or special meeting.
is there a second?
I'll second that.
Sounds good. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Any abstentions? Ayes have it. Consider that the next meeting, or sooner. I'll give Blake a call tomorrow morning. Okay. Next item on the agenda is Chairman Pro Tem report. I actually have one. We'll stick with the usual first. Normal business, I had a library board meeting last week. The primary topic of discussion, obviously, was the construction of the library. Dan Colton was present, gave a presentation as to what's going on, next steps, things of that nature. The library in the town is also looking at satellite location to resume certain library services in the short term, hopefully very soon, where people might be able to receive books, have activities, things like that. And I'd also like to say, just thank the library staff for all the work they've done over the last couple of months. They've really worked hard to try and keep the library going, even though it's not in the physical structure with online programming or programming at other places around town. And I think that's been great. And, you know, I think it's important also for the public. It was mentioned at that meeting. Dan mentioned it. We've mentioned it as many times as we can that, you know, the library is a priority. And we're working on that, and we want to reopen that library, and it's so important to this community. The other thing I mentioned is I went to the Arts and Culture Subcommittee of the EDC's awards ceremony this week. They announced, the first time they did this, they announced an Artist of the Year. They had a very nice event at Riverview Cinemas, and I just want to thank them for all the work they've done promoting the arts in our community over the past couple of years. And then that brings me to the real reason why there's a item on the agenda that says Chairman Pro Tem report. As everyone knows, 2 weeks ago, I was elected to become the next state representative for the 69th House District, representing Bridgewater, Roxbury, New Milford, and of course, the residents here in the town of Southbury. I have made the difficult but necessary decision that I will be stepping down as a member of this body to be effective not today, but after our next meeting, which will be on December 5th. And, you know, there'll be more to say in the coming weeks and then, but, you know, it's just been it's been a privilege to serve the people of the town of Southbury on this board for many years. I'm thankful for the trust they've put in me time and again to represent them here on this board. It's been a pleasure serving with all of you and your predecessors. And, you know, I look forward to continuing to serve this community and the greater community up in Hartford next year. So that's that for now. So now we're on to reports from liaisons. Selectman Betty.
So the Economic Development Commission met last night. We had updates from the Art and Culture Committee about the event you attended. Apparently, it was really quite nice. We heard from Kevin, obviously, as well. Lots of stuff going on in the Southbury Green, as folks can see. J. Crew is going in, and the bookstore will be going in where the Gap is after Christmas. Gap's going to stay through the season. Perhaps most significant, most encouraging, in my opinion, is that the IBM property will be listed by the end of the year, according to one of their representatives. So that'll be interesting. The Economic Development Committee made a motion and voted unanimously to recommend to us that the Art and Culture Subcommittee become their own committee. So I believe we should put that on our agenda for next time and have a discussion about what that looks like, how we do that, et cetera. But they've clearly been doing great things for the last couple years, and everybody on the committee feels like it's time for them to do their own thing. So
That'd be nice. It'd be nice to see the Old Grange Hall restored and have a place for that committee to go to.
yeah. Investment portfolio, strategic plan have not met. Pool oversight is meeting next December 5th. But I have heard that there's concrete going down over there. So things are, the weather is cooperated as far as temperatures, and it's gone very well over there. So I'll have more on that for our next meeting. That's it.
So on the Arts and Culture Subcommittee, so we have the authority under the charter to create committees and whatnot. I just think I mentioned this before, I think it'd be helpful to know from them some guidance in whatever resolution we might pass. To have some communication with them as to their mission and the number of members they have and whether that makes sense, whether they want more or less, because once we do it, it's gonna be a formalized thing. And, you know, Ann Armino talked to me about that the other night as well, and, you know, I think they've done great work, and it's great for them to go off and be able to do more.
Yeah, I did mention to Kelly that she should probably pencil herself in for our next meeting.
Yeah.
So,
I have a question, Justin. With the pool, do you know if not needing heaters, if it were coming in under budget at all? Have you heard any buzz? I mean, that might be a Dan Colton question, but I was just curious if you've heard
no, we
anything.
haven't heard any budgetary numbers. We haven't had a meeting actually in over a month, so we haven't had any dollar updates yet, no.
Okay. I was just curious, because it's just been so mild, and if they haven't needed the heaters and we budgeted for the heaters, it'd be really nice if we
Right.
saved a couple bucks there, so.
It seems pretty likely,
Yeah,
but we'll
good.
see.
We shall see. Thank you.
I'm next. I already gave my report. Selectman O'Neill.
None of mine have met. This task force was canceled, and the Conservation Commission and Park and Rec are meeting tonight, same time here. I don't know if this is appropriate right now, but I kind of wanted to hopefully question Jason before you do leave, representing Southbury. I'd like the affordable housing to get back onto the agenda. I know the planning commission approved the language rewrite. Hoping for some direction from you as to what next steps are. I believe that we do have to have a town meeting on that, or a public hearing to see what the people in Southbury would like to do. I know Jason Van Stone, you were on the planning commission, and looking through the March 1st minute meetings, there was a planning commission memo stating that they received the report from Affordable Housing Subcommittee requesting the language for the Special Act 13-23 be amended, and it was the opinion of the Planning Commission, based on current needs of affordable and senior housing throughout Southbury, that a property, the development the size of Pierce Hollow would allow the town to make significant strides to correct the housing inequities and increase affordable housing stock. So I know Planning Commission has approved it. I know Jeff and the Jordan Marchenko were speaking with COG to see what ramifications it would be for Southbury. But during one of the meetings, Jason, you had asked the Board of Selectmen to read through Public Act 16-1. I can't seem to find that, and I'm just trying to figure out what you were referring to.
So, first off, that's not on the agenda tonight, so I'd urge you to reach out to the first selectman about getting that on the agenda. I'll email you Public Act 16-1. It's the operative statute. I encourage everyone to, look at that, because everyone's referring to 13-23. That's been amended. So there is a new statute, a new public act, and I'll send that to you. Selectman Sullivan.
So there was a Region 15 meeting on November 11th. I have not been able to watch the entire meeting, but it's the principals meeting, which is said for if anybody in the district. It's really always eye-opening to actually hear from the principals when they do come in and speak to the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Education. They get to talk about their school goals, what opportunities are out there for improvement, but also the milestones that they have hit. And each principal takes their turn to kind of talk about what their goals are in their schools and what things that they're striving for and where they've excelled. So if you have a child in Region 15 schools, go check out what the principal has to say, because there's so few opportunities to hear from them directly, and hopefully you're not hearing from the principal directly if you do have a kid in the school district, because usually that's a different phone call. So it's nice to hear, the whole scope of it and really kind of see more of their vision going forward. So I encourage folks to watch that video that's on the website. That's my report.
Thank you. Selectman Van Stone.
Thank you, Mr. President. Had the opportunity to meet with the Energy Task Force this past Tuesday, and they caught me up on, in a 2-hour meeting, they caught me up on pretty much everything they've been doing over the past couple of years, and I appreciate it. It's an incredible group of gentlemen who have a real passion for not only Southbury, but making it a little more sustainable. Most of the conversation dealt around the solar array that's being proposed or through the RFP process here in town at the transfer station, kind of where they're looking to go with that. Another large part of the conversation was how proud they were that the town, and I think it was in the Voices yesterday, earned a silver award from Sustainable Connecticut for the work that we've been doing here in town that the Energy Task Force is part of. Last year, we had earned a bronze. There was more criteria this year that we were able to check boxes for that Sustainable Connecticut was looking for in a sustainable community. So we jumped up to a silver award this year. So the push is already on for gold next year.
Nice.
Additionally, I had the opportunity to meet with the Senior Services Commission yesterday. They're very excited how their Thanksgiving meal event was is being planned. They had it last week. They had a great turnout. They're excited about that, and they're in the process of now planning their holiday basket event. A lot of discussion centered around some of the busing issues with Heritage Village, eliminating their bus. Andrew's doing a good job trying to serve now a greater population of people requesting drivers. They're in the process, and I think we saw it today, for another potential driver to help out with some of that. They're getting the job done. They're looking forward to bringing on some more resources to help with that. And lastly, they were very excited. It looks like at the end of the year, they're going to have about 965 members of the group, which is a huge growth for them this year. And they are looking to crack 1,000 members probably shortly into the new year, is their hope.
Sounds good. Thank you. Well, with that, wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And if there's a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.